He might have a bust inside the Emirates, but if Arsene Wenger presides over another identical season of hope, injuries and despair, his legacy could be tarnished forever. Ozil will pull the strings and Xhaka will add the steel, but pretty football only takes you so far, and if Olivier Giroud continues to fail against the very best opposition, expect the toxic atmosphere and hastily manufactured banners to appear early this year. However, if he does decide to drop some pennies on a top-end striker, it could be a different story. Will the dreaded second season hit the cherries? Callum Wilson and Benica Fobi will score the goals, and if Jordan Ibe can rediscover the form that made him so sought after as a 15-year-old, then Bournemouth could target a top 10 finish. The intimacy of Dean Court and England target Eddie Howe have added something special to a league full of soulless superdromes. Sean Dyche is back in the Premier League, which is excellent news. Joey Barton isn't, which is great for everyone but Burnley supporters, as his leadership and quality in midfield drove the team back up and will be sorely missed. Most of the squad have Premier League experience, but without a glut of new signings, their season back in the bigs could be nothing more than a 10-month shop window for the free-scoring Andre Gray. One thing is certain, Antonio Conte will be regularly seen doing his nut on the sideline of a Premier League ground near you. Eden Hazard owes the supporters a big season, and John Terry will continue to defy the ravages of time. And if new signings Kante and Batshuayi can energise Cesc, Costa and the rest of the old boys at Stamford Bridge into seizing the opportunity presented by having no European football, then Conte might well add to his bulging trophy cabinet. When your key man is the wildly inconsistent Connor Wickham, then you're in trouble. And unless Palace add a proven Premier League goalscorer, and not just the £10 million James Tompkins, then the fear is that last season's post-Christmas form will continue. Andros Townsend is a good signing and will add goals, as is Mandanda, but Zaha needs to add end product to his sorcery if the Eagles are to soar. Off the pitch, the Toffees are in better shape than ever, but the drawn-out sagas involving Lukaku and Stones have made it impossible to assemble a squad capable of fighting for the top six. Everything is in place for Everton to break the glass ceiling, but even with Ashley Williams replacing Stones, the fans might just have to accept a transitional season before Moshri's millions and Koeman's genius can be fully exploited. With Steve Bruce gone, the continued off-the-pitch ownership shenanigans, and a squad low on quality and numbers, the Tigers face a battle to save themselves from top-flight extinction. The spine of Hernandez, Livermore, Huddleston and Davies is one to build around, but with the aforementioned problems basically writing off pre-season, will it be enough for Hull to survive? Remarkably, Leicester are 33-1 to win the league and 14-1 to go down, which either means the bookies have been at the cooking sherry or they're convinced lightning doesn't strike twice. The Champions League will present a fresh set of problems to Claudio Ranieri, but with the bulk of last season's heroes still intact, plus astute additions, the Foxes won't roll over easy. By adding the pace and goals of Mane and Wijnaldum, Jurgen Klopp's side will surely be a lot closer to the furious counter-pressing outfit that he wants. Yet, if Joel Matip fails to settle quickly, and Jonas Hector isn't signed to replace the hapless Alberto Moreno, the same defensive deficiencies that have scarred the last two seasons will again hold the Reds back. With an embarrassment of attacking options and the lack of European football, Liverpool could be a good tip for the top four, or higher. The big question is, has Pep Guardiola got the players he needs to play the way he did at Barca and Bayern? Although the signing of John Stones will undoubtedly allow City a greater chance to play out from the back, there is still the prospect of Joe Hart shanking 5-yard passes to opposing strikers, so Pep will need to craft a style that meets his ideological beliefs but doesn't put his defence under undue pressure. Luckily, with Sané, Gundogan, Silva and Aguero, they should have no problems at the other end of the pitch. The bookies, journos, bin men and taxi drivers will tell you there is only one team in it this season, and now that Pogba is in the house with Zlatan and Jose, that belief is only going to intensify. With Rooney seemingly over the hill physically, and the defence and midfield being still well below the standards of the great United teams, Mourinho will really have to prove his worth as both coach and motivator this year, needing to get the best out of his marquee signings. This season we decided that Borough were going to be our second team, as soon as they signed little Victor Valdez and big Alvaro Negredo. Tactically, they'll be drilled to within an inch of their lives, and if the newly recruited enforcer, Martin de Roon, can bring his crunching tackles from Italy, they might surprise a few teams, especially if Gaston Ramirez and Victor Fischer play to anywhere near their full potential. If any club other than Southampton sold their best players again and changed their manager again, we'd say there was trouble brewing. Thing is, the Saints are the best run club in the top flight, with heavily incentivised contracts to keep players hungry and a recruitment policy that makes a mockery of the top four. If new gaffer Claude Puel can get his ideas across, the signings of Nathan Redmond and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg should soften the departures of Wanyama and Mane, leaving Long, Rodriguez and Austin to score the goals. A delight to watch at times last season, Mark Hughes has finally exercised all traces of Tony Pulis, thanks to Arnautovic, Shaqiri and Bojan terrorising defences. Adding Ramadan Sobhi and Joe Allen to a squad brimming with attacking talent, now the main problem is lacking a striker to finish off the spellbinding move and score 20 goals a season. Unless Juve can up his game significantly, it could be a similar story this season. At least Charlie Adam won't have to play though, so everyone's a winner. With his defensive coaching and additions of Defoe, Kone and Kirchhoff, Big Sam undoubtedly left the Black Cats in a better position than he found them. We know David Moyes will continue drilling the squad to work hard and be organised, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have enough to automatically stay up. Unless he can get help from the 12th man, sign Villa on a permanent basis, and add 3 or 4 proven Premier League players, then he could be in for another season of misery. Being a Swansea fan at the moment must be quite concerning. Gomez and Ayew are gone, Joe Allen didn't come back, captain and heartbeat Ashley Williams is decamped for Everton, and an ageing Fernando Llorente is being seen as the messiah. There is a resilience about the Swans that is admirable, but even with Francesco Guidolin's tactical nous and Gylfi Sigurdsson's brilliance, a slim squad looks in trouble if reinforcements don't arrive soon. The column inches devoted to Conte, Pep and Jose have meant that last season's buccaneering Spurs team are hardly being spoken about, which we imagine pleases Poch greatly. The Lily-Whites ran out of steam last season, but with Janssen and Wanyama in, at least 2 more signings to come, and Harry Kane desperate to prove a point after the Euro catastrophe, they should have the staying power to compete in both the league and Europe. We're a little bit sad that Quique Sanchez-Flores and his lovely beard won't be illuminating technical areas this season, but we've still got a lot of love for this Watford side. Dini and Nagalo are still to be feared, but the big question mark surrounds Walter Mazzari and whether his disciplinarian ways will bond or break the team spirit. The additions of defenders Bryce Jajede and Christian Cavicelli, plus forwards Jerome Sinclair and Isaac Success Ajayi, should provide a squad that knocked it on the head in March with a bit more ballast. If you took a trip to the Hawthorns last season, then you're probably aware of the mutiny that is beginning to spread among supporters not content with following an attritional team happy to play the percentages. Matt Phillips will be a good signing from QPR. His pace, trickery and eye for the spectacular will give the fans something to sing about. With an ageing squad and Pulis' bus permanently parked, the Baggies faithful might have to prepare for another season of mediocrity. We can't apologise for the haircut, but Slaven Bilic is pretty much our favourite manager in the league. Second only to Jurgen Klopp in the man-hug stakes, his impact upon West Ham has been incredible, and he's the man to make sure the switch of stadium doesn't hinder the Hammers. If Ayew can take some of the pressure off Payet and contribute with goals and assists, and Big Andy can stay fit, expect a season of big old Cockney knees up and riotous touchline celebrations from Slav. We cannot wait.